And was he what, Chairman Emeritus by that point?
He was Chairman Emeritus by that point, yeah.
When was that?
2009. Yeah, so he put his whole heart and soul into Gateway Bank and just was so very committed to the very end.
What do you recall as a child what your father said about this when he was considering this and formulating this and launching this initiative?
Well, you know, I was quite young then, but again, he did speak about the need of you know, Gateway Bank was the only black-owned bank in the state of Missouri. And so again, for those co-founders to be so committed, it was just amazing. And again, he always spoke about the lack of financial institutions and products available to the black community and loans. They needed loans. So therefore, Gateway Bank, it was actually Gateway National Bank at that time. So yeah.
What did he say? Did he talk about those things just in terms of injustice, or there needed to be a solution, or what?
There needed to be a solution and there was an injustice, both. And so I think George Montgomery and Melvin Harrington, I think, began the charter, and they all came together. There was quite a number of local African American businessmen that came together to create Gateway National Bank.
Pioneers.
Exactly. Courageous pioneers, absolutely.
At a time when there was a price to pay.
At a time that there was a price to pay. You know, I think it was in '63 that Jefferson Bank had the sit-in, and so the timing was amazing.
I mean, at a time when there were clearly, all around the country, were consequences for people who didn't like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, this was no small undertaking.
Not at all. Not at all. It was historical, as you well know. So.
Were they at risk?
Looking back on history, I would think that may have been at risk, but I don't particularly remember any stories of any negativity or
any threats
or anything of that sort, no.
Well, Lisa, you put in some time at the bank.
I did. I was employed with Gateway Bank for 14 years, and it was quite an honor to be a part of Gateway Bank and be able to work with my father. Had an amazing staff, fabulous presidents over the years. All of them had the same passion and for serving the community and providing financial education for the community. So I worked in customer service, and I can tell you, I have so many fond memories of Gateway Bank. I think we were the only bank that served coffee and popcorn every day, and we served donuts on the 1st and the 3rd of every month. And so we would have our customers to come in, of course, to handle their finances, but to just come in and just talk. It was like we were an extended family, and it was just amazing. I can remember I was coming to work this morning thinking about some of the stories at Gateway, and one of our customers was a member of the St. Louis Symphony, and every time she would come into the bank, she would bring her violin when she made her transactions at the teller window. Well, this one particular day, and I think this was during the time that Donnell Reed was president, she actually opened up her case and performed in the lobby. I'm saying it's amazing. I mean, how often does that happen? That's what I'm saying. It's just great memories. And to this day, I still have people that will stop me on the street and is like, hey, aren't you Cliff Gates' daughter? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, oh my God, Gateway Bank gave us our first loan for our first home. And I had a young lady stop me the other day, and she said, you know, your dad, well, she said her father passed the bank every day going to work. And she said, your father came out and said, hey, Gateway Bank is starting savings accounts for kids. And I know you have children, and we want the children to come in and start a savings account. And she was one of those children, and she told me that every weekend religiously she would come in and go to the teller window and make her little deposit and get her little receipt. So, you know, it's very cool that after all these years you still hear great stories and stories that you just never knew about. So it's rewarding.
So your father was out on the sidewalk marketing savings accounts.
Absolutely. That's a community bank for you, huh?
You said a lot of the presidents were like-minded, like your father.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think a lot of them had that same vision and same concern for the community, providing financial services. Wonderful, wonderful presidents that really, really took the bank at heart and did everything that they could during their term for the community. I know Donnell Reed would even have his office on the lobby, and he had like an open door policy so people could always come in and chat with him. You know, think about it. You could just walk in and chat and share a donut with the president of the bank, you know? So that's why I say we were like an extended family in the community.
How did that happen, that those presidents were of a mind, an opinion, an attitude similar to your father's?
It was a blessing, actually. I don't know if that was intentionally how they were intentionally picked or not, but it was wonderful.
Do you think he played a role in that?
My father? I think he did. Yeah, I think the entire board did. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's probably pretty unusual, you know what I mean, to have a string of people, because, you know, you get a new president, the organization goes a different way. Or
no. We've had consistent presidents that had the utmost concern for the community. So we were very blessed in that aspect.
Well, Lisa, what else sticks out in your mind about your memories, particularly considering that you worked there for 14 years? I mean, you had experience and exposure there as a child, but then was it your first job?
No, that wasn't my first job, but it was one of the most rewarding because, as I said, even today, I still run into some of my old customers, and they talk about how they've never had another banking experience since Gateway that was so rewarding and never felt so personal. You know, never had such a personal relationship with any other bank than the days of Gateway Bank. So it makes you feel good. It makes you feel really good.
How did you feel when you heard it was closing?
Well, needless to say, that was a very sad time, and my father had already passed, and you know, it was just a very sad time that Gateway didn't thrive. You know, that was during a time where there were a lot of bank closures, and but when the people from St. Louis Community Credit Union called me and told me that they were opening a Gateway branch, oh my gosh, I was just elated. I thought that was amazing. And I work with the St. Louis City Treasurer's Office. I'm the director of the Office of Financial Empowerment. And so we have interactions with a lot of the banks and credit unions in the metropolitan area. St. Louis Community Credit Union has sponsored a couple of our initiatives. We've worked with them before. Oh my gosh, they are, I think, just such a perfect fit for that community because they have shown their commitment to the community. They've provided financial literacy programs for our city employees as well as for the public. they really go over and beyond for the community.
And the name?
Will be St. Louis Community Credit Union Gateway Branch. Yeah.
What about that?
That's amazing. And I think the co-founders will be just so pleased, or would be so pleased, that their vision and legacy is being carried on. So, yeah.
I mean, that'll mean something to a lot of people, huh?
Oh, absolutely. You know, St. Louis is, or Missouri has one of the highest number of unbanked households. So I think their presence in the community there will make a huge difference. And we're looking forward to that.
Well, Lisa, what does St. Louis Community Credit Union's presence to mean to the community, you know, with its investment in the property and carrying on the name and some of the memorabilia and things of that nature that you're talking about?
What does that mean to me?
Just what does it mean to the community?
Oh, I think they'll be very, very pleased. As I said, we were like a family over there, and it's a great community over there. There are so many families that don't have transportation to go to other financial institutions, and there's so many great families over there that are needing someone to just take a moment and provide financial literacy and guidance. And St. Louis Community Credit Union, as I said, just really goes over and beyond and does their part on the community.
You're not the first person to mention financial literacy, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like that is a priority for the credit union and was a priority for Gateway, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, ongoing. As I said, we have so many unbanked households here in Missouri, and so it's so important to address that issue right now in order for our families to provide better for our community overall and their growth. So, yeah.